Hey, can you hear me?
I can loud and clear. How you doing?
Not too bad. Hopefully this mic will work for me.
Is this a new mic? Because you sound good.
Well, it's supposed to be on a headset, but the headset isn't working. At least you can hear me. I can hear you. It's just not coming through the earphones. Of course, there's always something.
Yeah, I can hear you. I think that's all that matters. Oh, I see Daniel's here already.
Is he? No, this is someone else. Wait, what's his username? Oh, there he is. Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah,
There
I
we go.
added him. Nice. Hey, mate.
All right.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm assuming you guys can hear me all right.
Yep, definitely hear you.
All right. Perfect.
Let's see if I can get this headset going. Hold on. Okay, can you hear me all right now?
Yeah. Yeah. You sound good.
Nice. This is it. All right. Good to start a bit early, get the sound check out of the way, have a few laughs before everyone filters in.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm just getting some links and stuff pulled up just so I have a few
Did you
talking
say
points.
links or
Yeah.
wings? Because you just made me
No.
hungry.
Yeah. I've already eaten dinner by now. It's 11 here, my time.
Ooh, wow.
Not as bad over here. It's only 9 o'clock.
Well, it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's 4 p.m. here, but I'm in the future, fellas. This is Thursday.
I'm glad to hear that tomorrow will come.
Yeah, I heard that there's a few panic attacks up in the swamp there in the States now that Fit 21 passed. A few oldies are waking up to some
Are
strange
yelling at the
news.
sky? Yes, they
They're,
will always continue to do that.
they're rushing to download wallets as we speak.
Which is kind of crazy because it doesn't do much. They're just upset that they're not controlling things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so weird watching that stuff go down. Like, I feel like that came out of the blue, but I don't obviously heavily research all the legislative processes and stuff, but it just seemed to me like no one talked about it at all. And all of a sudden they say, oh, it's just going to be voted on. Oh, it's approved. I'm like, what? I thought everyone was doom and gloom about what's going on over there in the Senate or in the Congress part.
I don't know. It's weird. Like, in order for them to get to a CBDC, they kind of like have to let us play ball with crypto for a little while. I feel like.
Yeah.
You mean to convert their USDC into a CBDC? Is that what you're thinking?
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's the path of least resistance right now.
Yeah, it is, man. The crazy thing is, like, a lot of, well, I think most mainstream people don't realize that Fedwire is essentially a centralized CDBC already staged. It's all ready to go. Instant settlement, all that crap. It's just not on chain. There's no transparency, which is how they want it for the most part now. I mean, imagine if all of the swamp suddenly had all of their wallets doxed on chain and you could see what they were up to. You think anyone there wants that? You think Pelosi's husband wants that?
I mean, do you think they care that much? I mean, there's two things going here. They're probably never going to get prosecuted, and B, by the time they do get prosecuted, they'd be dead.
Yeah, that's true. But that money then
Yeah,
goes
it's
to the
slow
family.
moving.
I guess there would be. Yeah, sure. They'll exit the system somehow, either by death or by expiry. Before the pitchforks come out. But it's crazy to see it all happening. I find it interesting. But
I mean,
yeah,
I think I find it interesting that she's gotten what in 2023 was it 65% returns on her stocks on her portfolio. I still find that very interesting. What's going on, Balone? Good to see you here, man.
Oh yeah, well, we're right on 4, or I guess 4, whatever time UTC, 3 a.m. UTC. Yeah, we're right on the start time. But yeah, but there's that joke that's still going around, right? Like from people who are like 1 foot into Web 2, 1 foot into Web 3. They're like, yeah, the only proven use case for crypto right now is stablecoins, and I'm like, you can't really say that's all wrong of a statement, right? I mean, it is kind of a use case that is working fairly well for what it is.
I mean, it's the only way for people to like prevent their gains from going away once things, take a dump. You know what I mean? So it's kind of needed for this space. It's made it's made life easier. Like back in the day, it was all a matter of like you would have to onboard, and then you have to find a way to get that money off chain. Now we can keep everything on chain and live happily ever after, as long as things don't change too much. But it's kind of the world that we live in. I'm excited to see more stable coins actually come out. More transparent stable coins that are not company owned, that focus on community based rewards instead of just having the protocol take all the profits. So that's the next level for me. That's what I'm really excited to see. Hopefully we can get a couple of those going this cycle.
Yeah, there's some brewing. There are some brewing. I'm also interested in a few of those ones that are claiming to be like inflation proof, like flat coins. Some of those are starting to kind of brew into existence, and then some interesting mechanisms. But again, it's like, what's it collateralized with? Like you have to, if that part is missing. Now there's quite a few entities, which you said not owned by an entity maybe with stablecoins, but some are actually pegging their stuff collateralized to UST, like treasuries, which people could argue are still a very commonplace industry accepted means of a value that is interest bearing, even though we know that the bond space is pretty screwed, but still, it's interesting to see that on chain now.
I mean, are you really worried? I think $1 is always going to be worth $1 because they just print more.
Yeah, that's true. But if you drink Coke, if you drink Coke, is the can of Coke going to still be what it is? How many vending machines where you guys live where a can of Coke's still $1? Is it $1?
No, the only thing I can trust to remain the same. Yeah, Costco. Costco's the only thing that I can get my bottled water for 25 cents and a hot dog and a Coke. Well, a Pepsi for $1.50. That's it. Everything else is variable.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. It is crazy though. Like that's the only thing you could budget on now. Is you just have to live next to a Costco, right? And then you could have a stable living.
Thankfully, I have 3 next to me, so I'm pretty excited.
Oh my gosh, nice. When Costco coin? When Costco hot dog coin? Has anyone made that yet?
There's a meme coin
there's
out
been
there
one on Solana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
that's
called
right.
Cost.
They make those. Yeah, I think I have seen that now.
I think the goal was to get it to $1, or I don't know if it was the hot dog. I think it was like the hot dog. It was like Costco hot dog, and they were like, "We're not stopping till it hits $1."
It's one. They want to go to 150. That's what that one goes. They want to get it to. The $1 one is 99 cents. That's the Arizona iced tea one.
Oh, that's right. You got to get that combo, right? It's got to be the hot dog and the Pepsi. It's got to be it.
Funny thing that a buddy of mine actually launched that contract, and it was a fluke. It wasn't ready. They basically were testing it. They hit go and added liquidity to see if they could like bring it in and take it out, and the thing just took off.
Oh, amazing. So many crazy like runs that you're seeing now with random stuff. It's quite interesting, like, but people are, it's just like so many things pop up. You can't even keep track. But at least in Mask, when we do these regular calls or semi-regular, as you can tell, I've been a little sick. The reason that we've had a couple weeks off is mainly because we've been working on some heavy technical things to upgrade with another release, but also I've not been 100%. So now I'm feeling a bit better, but I've got a bit of the sniffle. But yeah, now we've got good friend Dan here from Filebase 2 we've been long-term partners with them. So yeah, this is all about how that tech is pretty amazing, and yeah, what that means to the communities.
Well, you
Yeah,
want to get right into it?
To kind of chat about that, like go into detail there.
Well, let's start off by just having people find out who you are, Dan. Like, what is it you do over at Filebase?
I'm actually the director of partnerships for Filebase, but I do kind of a lot. As with like any smaller platform, like you kind of have to wear many hats. So obviously, I work in kind of like the marketing arm of our company, partnerships. Do a little bit of BD. A lot of our events, like if you've been to any event that we've hosted or we've been to, you've probably either run into me or you've seen something. But yeah, I've been with them for 2 years now, like as of last week. This is my first role in Web3, but I come from a Web2 storage platform called Files. So I spent like the last half a decade in storage, like really, really deep down the storage rabbit hole. So yeah, exciting place to be.
Well, it's always nice to hear that we have professionals coming from Web 2 into Web 3. And I got to say, like Filebase, I totally get it. You guys are lean, which is awesome. Like that's actually a healthy thing for the space. You can get a lot more done when there's less cooks in the kitchen. I would say, and it's the same case with Mask. I mean, Mask doesn't have hundreds of people behind something. It's we got Corey over here leading the charge, and a handful of devs and marketing people, and we make it work. And obviously, I love what Mask has been able to accomplish with a small team. And ultimately, it's not about numbers; it's about what the quality of the product ultimately is. And this partnership speaks volumes to exactly that. I mean, I see Slam down there, and he's the man, and he does so much for Mask. I appreciate you, brother. I'm glad to see you here. The calls, the day to day that happens in the background, it doesn't. It takes a village to make sure that people are learning about tech and finding out about the opportunities that exist in Web3. But the building aspect of it, I mean, it's a handful of people that really make magic happen. It's really exciting to have that. But when it comes to Filebase, this partnership has been going on for a little while, right, Corey?
Yeah, I don't know the official. I'll have to look back in our blog and our announcements. I think it's over a year now, probably. And we did have sort of like different aspects we wanted to integrate and dive into and launch, but they've been on our, like when you start up the browser. For those who are listening who haven't tried it, go ahead and try it. It's free to use on testnet. It's like a minute or two to install. Go ahead and try it. And when you start it up, the first page you'll see is like, looks kind of like a desktop. We call that the Mask space. And you've got different workspaces you can use. And in the dock, Filebase sits right there. There's a little folder icon. You click on that, it opens up Filebase straight away. If you've got an account, you can log in. If you don't, you can get a free account. So like they premiere as our decentralized storage partner, essentially. And there's a lot of reasons why we kind of chose Filebase 2, which we might touch on today, but really it kind of sits in a nice medium where it's familiar to look at. It looks kind of like a Web3 Dropbox. You can just drag folders in, files in. They go up into the IPFS layer and live in the decentralized cloud. And I'm sure Dan's way more equipped to explain it, a bit better than I. But it's cool because it's just that easy to use. So yeah, we think it's cool. It's a great partnership.
Yeah, no, I definitely like it because I've known about Filebase for years now. But Dan, if you don't mind going through a little bit of what you guys actually provide, because I've been on that free tier for a long time, and I think that there is no reason why anybody that's in Web3, wouldn't sign up for that one. But you do offer way more as well, right?
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, we are pretty committed to like offering a free tier. I think in this space, like in order for people to be able to experiment with things and to be able to play around, like you shouldn't expect them to, fork out cash because a lot of this stuff is experiential in the first place. Like you're going to find a lot of projects that they experiment around, they play around with everything, and then they end up, choosing something that they feel comfortable with, or in some cases they're developers in Web 2 and they move into the Web 3 space. They need things that are familiar to some of the frameworks that they've worked with in the past, and that's kind of where we focus. So First and foremost, like we focus on IPFS, which if you're not familiar with IPFS, I won't go down the whole rabbit hole. I might gloss over it a little bit, but we focus primarily on decentralized storage, but IPFS is a hypermedia protocol. It's made specifically for content distribution. And so you'll see a lot of things on IPFS today, but it's kind of where we focus a majority of our time. So you'll see us handling things like IPFS pinning, offering dedicated IPFS gateways, which today, the way that web browsers work with IPFS is it's not perfect. So this is why gateways are typically needed. You'll usually see things like DNS link. You'll see places where people have stuff routed today that it's not very professional, and you'll notice that it lags a little bit. When you provide somebody a dedicated gateway, all of that traffic is actually served directly on the browser at the speed that you're used to getting content, from any other provider like AWS today. We also provide IPNS, which is a completely different technology that we can kind of chat about, but the key advantages to kind of using us is one, we're cost effective. So we're one of the lowest cost providers in the space at scale. So if you're trying to do something that's enterprisey and you need a lot of storage, you would typically come to Firebase for that. We're a little bit faster at content retrieval because we operate our own global CDN and we operate on bare metal. So everything's kind of managed in-house instead of using third-party providers and kind of doubling up on that. But yeah, really the selling points to us is that we provide IPFS pinning, and if you don't know how IPFS works, there's a process called garbage collection that once a server essentially fills up, it just wipes everything out that's not explicitly stored on the server. And so people need a place to actually store things on IPFS, and that's where a company like Firebase comes in to kind of persist the data that you need day to day. But yeah, I won't like bore you with all of the specifics of IPFS. We could probably talk about it for hours, but yeah, that's kind of what we focus on today. When we first got into storage, we focused on Sia. You would have saw Storage, and some of these other storage blockchains, on our platform. We were more of an aggregate. But over the last year or so, we've slowly moved more towards just focusing primarily just on IPFS pinning and all of the connected services to that.
I don't think he knows me quite well yet, Corey, because I can talk nerd all night. You got to stop me from doing that. So CDNs, for the ones that are listening in, you guys might be wondering why that matters. Well, content delivery networks is how we actually get to browse the web without crazy latency. So files are actually delivered to you at a location that is close by to you. And the way that you guys are doing this, Dan, is pretty awesome. Bare metal is got a lot of benefits as well, and I didn't even realize that that's how you guys were building in the background. I mean, not only scalability wise, but performance is definitely something that comes hand in hand when it comes to bare metal servers. But again, thank you for saying you're not going to bore us with that, because I will go into it way more than I should, especially if you start talking about interplanetary file system. But we can get to that in a minute.
Yeah, it's a deep ecosystem. There's a lot of moving parts, and so yeah, I mean, there's you could literally talk for weeks on end about this stuff, and I think people do, like, during the day. You catch a lot of the spaces here stateside. Like a lot of those conversations are really centered around what's going on in IPFS. But yeah, always happy to chat about this stuff.
No, it's exciting tech. I mean, it's definitely one of those things that we really need in the space. And something, if you don't mind me highlighting about Firebase, that's really unique, that really brings, Web 2 into Web 3, is the fact that people can really migrate their stuff quite easily from an AWS server, like, an S3, over to your platform without having a lot of friction. And that's huge, right?
Right. Yeah, and we when you fork the S3 protocol, like you kind of bring with you everything that people learned from Web 2. They don't have to relearn like an API, an SDK. Like they understand how this stuff works kind of out of the box. So that's kind of the easiest part to it. Like we figure that most developers got started at some point along their journey and ended up in Web 3. And that's just kind of a conduit to trying to make sure that people understand like how to use this stuff, and they don't have to like read mountains of research and work to try and understand what they're doing. And again, it's like why we offer the free tier. That way people can access this stuff. But yeah, very cool.
No, it's awesome to do it that way because again, adoption is everything in this space. And Corey, I think you do something very similar to that when it comes to the browser as well. Like you do want a new browsing experience when it comes to Web3, but you just can't throw everything that's shiny and new in front of people. Otherwise, they kind of get lost and have no idea where they're going. Right?
Yeah, I feel like I've always felt like a part of the vision with Mask and with Web3 is that you want to reduce user friction. One of a really awesome guy who's I kind of think of him as a mentor as well. He said, look, you want low cognitive load, right? If someone's starting to use a product for the first time and there's heaps of things they need to look at, heaps of things they need to decide on, all these setups, it's a high cognitive load. It'll turn users off straight away. So I've always felt that part of the Mask vision is to make a curated experience that lets people get what they want when they're ready. Like it shows options, but not very technical, sort of, oh, I kind of like the idea of that, let me try it. Or, oh, wow, they've got a preferred decentralized storage provider. Cool, I don't need to research all the stuff and set up nodes and learn how it works underneath the hood. It can just be tried. And like Dan said, like that's a big reason why they have a free tier. They know a lot of people are still experimenting with this stuff, but it's got to be easy to use. If something looks like Dropbox or dare I say the M word, Microsoft OneDrive, and if it looks like that and it seems real easy to use like that, chances are a user will try it. They don't always understand how much amazing decentralization goes into it and how it all exists in the cloud and in redundancy and distributed and all that. But the magic's there, right? And eventually that will help adoption. So like with those types of ways of thinking, that's why we did pick, Filebase to be such a strong partner. And then people who are technical, you can see there's a whole rabbit hole world of technological advantages, ways you could leverage that for projects, for use cases, all sorts of cool stuff. One thing that I did want to add, though, is like the reason decentralized storage and IPFS is so important is a big, fundamental aspect of Mask is being censorship resistant, right? That's why we built the network. So people in any country can use the network and browse and retrieve content from anywhere in the world without censorship or with as minimal censorship as possible. So if you have something hosted in the decentralized, IPFS layer, essentially you are providing a censorship resistant access point that someone in another country who might be censored by many means can try and access it. So we use it now also to host our installers. So someone who might live in a country that, who knows, maybe they'll block our website one day or our domain will be, hard to get to. The IPFS links are there using what Dan said, IPNS, which means you've got a static, basically a hash, a string that doesn't change, even if the file changes for the next version. That can be accessed. So we want everybody in the world to be able to get Mask if they want it. So you got to go through that route of decentralized storage to make that real. So for us, it's kind of a no-brainer to kind of look at these things and say, we need this in our ecosystem. So yeah, that's a big reason why we love it. And we want to keep integrating more aspects of it. So yeah,
and there's actually a lot you can do. I mean, with the integration that you guys have in there too, I mean, like users can do everything from like mirroring front ends to building NFT collections. They can decentralize entire websites. They could build something like a Vercel that has like a CI/CD launch pipeline for, deploying entire front ends. There's just a lot you can do with it. We see a lot of people today that are building like decentralized applications. They use it for content distribution, media hosting. People that just simply have their own websites that need a place to host the media for their blogs, all the way down to like really, really avant-garde like e-commerce platforms like we run into constantly. But yeah, people use it for just about anything you can think of.
Yeah, actually, I was going to ask, because I haven't looked at your documentation, which is really, really robust and amazing, and you've had a lot of great team members build that. So anyone who wants to dive in, like I can't help but plug like the Filebase blog and their guide set is so detailed. There's so many cool things you can just sit on there and spend hours on it, learning all the cool ways you can do it. But I was going to ask, while we're together here, we've got a recent partnership which is starting to blossom more with Handshake domains or Handshake, HNS domains. I guess essentially it's all possible to blend together, right? If I own an HNS domain, I could essentially host the content for the website on IPFS through Filebase and then have it resolved there, right? And it's kind of all fully
100%,
censorship resistant, right?
Yeah, we actually have people that are doing that today, in a large number. And I mean, it's a large part of the use cases that we actually see from the enterprise side are people wanting to serve domain-based DNS, based on like an ETH name or like a Solana name.
Nice. That's so cool. I just wanted to kind of confirm it for listeners to see that there is a wider vision of how these pieces all fit together, right? These partnerships are not by happenstance. They're not random. There is logic to the way these things fit together because Web3 is an interconnected web of services as well as a whole new universe for people to see, use, and hopefully not have to learn every technical thing that PhDs in computer science have to design. It's done. They can walk in and say, I want this, boom. Okay, there's a solution. There's a guide. I can make it in 5 minutes. Like a lot of cool services are doing that. But yeah, this is all part of it. So yeah, that's cool. I'm really, really stoked to see someone in our community kind of make some stuff with that, where we'll talk about incentives maybe in another space from here with our ecosystem program, but all these things pieced together, like this is going to be cool to see what communities do with it.
Wow, so much to unpack. Like first and foremost, I'm actually surprised, Corey, that you went OneDrive instead of Google Drive. Usually that's the one that gets ragged on a little bit more. But the censorship resistancy of it is really important, like you were talking about. And the fact that you do make it easy, like that is huge. I think that like companies nowadays are trying to take the whole, decision making and trying to overhype it. I think that they've even coined the phrase, the decision fatigue. I don't know if you've heard that, but that's the new thing that goes around. It's like, I'm exhausted from making so many decisions. It's a marketing term. Like we want to make sure that we limit things when the users are first coming onto the platform so that they're not overwhelmed. You want to give them 3 choices usually. That's it. If you do more than that, you start losing them and then they don't know where to go. Like, which option do I pick? Like whenever you limit it, people actually make choices. They make decisions and they take action, which is exactly what we see not only on Mask when you're actually going through it and installing it, but also on Firebase. You guys are doing it right. And I'm glad you brought up the documentation for Firebase. I don't know if you've ever looked up Firebase or information about Firebase. Their docs have been so optimized that it's one of the first things that you see on any search engine platform. Like it is so good. Actually, 2 years ago, over 2 years ago, actually, I met Joshua, the founder for Firebase, and that was my whole conversation with him. I was like, you need to leverage this. Let's make sure that you're changing the look and feel of the Docs platform for Docs.Firebase because people need to find out how to sign up for Firebase when they're in your Docs because they are so good that people sometimes they find a doc before they actually find the main website. So there's a lot to be said about good documentation, which is really lacking in Web3, and yet these guys are doing it right, and that's pretty exciting. But Daniel, like when it comes to Firebase, yes, end users can definitely benefit from it. I'm one of those end users. But you guys work really well with companies, organizations. So if you don't mind me putting you on the spot, if you look down, there's a little icon that looks like a little clover. It's DeFi Kingdoms. They are actually a Web3 game that I'm going to get Corey to list on Mask, but they're good friends of mine and they're really good. How would you pitch somebody like that to bring over their entire ecosystem and their infrastructure away from a centralized server system to, Firebase? What's the pitch?
Well, you've got a lot of visual assets that exist all over the globe that people are accessing on a daily basis. Putting all that stuff on IPFS would actually I know it would reduce the cost, especially if you're using centralized infrastructure today, because a lot of what you're probably spending money on is just storage and egress. The way IPFS works, again, I won't go into like a whole mountain of detail here, but IPFS is kind of why people are leveraging NFTs, why they're building 3D static objects on metaverses on IPFS, and it's like nearest neighbor type stuff, where the closest node to you has access to that versus always having to go to the same server over and over. But yeah, we could definitely get into a long conversation about like what your backend looks like, what you're storing today that's public that people can access, because that's another important part about IPFS that I think a lot of people forget is that it's an open public protocol, that anybody can access it, unlike normal storage where everything is stored in a centralized stack somewhere where you don't have insights into the stuff and you can't see it, you can't access it. IPFS is a fully public protocol. What that means is that something like Firebase goes offline today, you can literally go log into any gateway and request your CIDs, and you can still access them. So even if our front end is down, that's something that AWS would probably have a large problem with. So there's different reasons why you would want to use us, and it's why a lot of people actually mirror their front ends through us. Because if their centralized side goes down, they need to have a place to be able to point to, or a consistent mirror link that all their users know or understand. But yeah, and to your point about our docs, like, thank you for bringing up our docs. We actually have so much in our docs that we've been slowly reducing the complexity and kind of pulling some stuff away over like the last few months. And I think you're right. Like, a lot of our docs actually lead to Google. You'll find links for IPFS based stuff through our docs, where like we would love to have that show up on our front end, so that way it would lead people to Firebase versus just our docs. But people do use our docs quite a bit.
Oh, it's a good thing, right? It means that they're actually using the platform, which is exciting. But Corey, you want me to go for it?
I was going to say, we shouldn't gloss over the fact that, like, when Dan and Firebase are talking about cost savings, as you build a project, especially in the NFT gaming space, that becomes a major infra cost is assets, storing files, storing images, storing 3D modeling, storing all sorts of stuff that powers the game, and then the access, right? In AWS world, big A, you've got something called CloudFront, which you pay for, and that's basically like a static storage layer that hosts all the files on various places in the world, so you don't have latency pulling them down, right? But you pay for that, and that adds another layer of costs. So with the whole IPFS space, you've got lots of providers. You've got Filecoin, you've got Storj, you've got blah blah blah, Arweave. There's heaps of them, and most of them have a token that powers those providers. At least with something like Firebase, they kind of sit in the middle ground between Web 2 and 3, I guess, in my view, because now you don't have to worry about tokens. You can just pay for your services based on use and like subscription modeling, and you don't have to top up with tokens. Like, what happens if you forget to top up your Filecoin wallet? Like, stuff might start getting removed or whatever. So it's a really important aspect that people should consider,
Yeah, then there's like pricing volatility. Like, I don't know if you've ever tried to price something in Arweave and then look back at the price of Arweave like 6 months later, or a year later, and you're like, okay, cost calculation changed dramatically here. Like, how much do I want to release the 10,000 collection versus like the 4,000 collection? So that happens quite a bit.
Yeah, not to spill the beans on some people here, but like, you do get preferential treatment as well, depending, like, even when you're mining and providing different storage solutions, like, these guys will definitely say, you know what, we like your server better. And even though they're decentralized, a lot of times it gets a little finicky depending on who these guys are. So yeah, IPFS is definitely a better platform that is transparent. That's the best thing about it, right? There's no person in the background going, you know what, you want to be a premier provider, we're gonna highlight your server, because I've gotten that request from other platforms, and you guys did mention the one that it was, but I won't say who, just because I mean, I don't need to bring anybody down or any more than we already are, because I mean, I feel like Corey is giving like the number 2 names. He said CloudFront, not Cloudflare. So maybe that's a theme here. We won't call out the big guy, just the mid ones, right?
Yeah, we'll let the mids mid, right?
That's what they do best.
Gotta let those mids mid. Yeah,
I love it.
But there's a lot of cool stuff going on, and I think if anyone's listening wants to learn more about the power of not just the partnership, but just what I think Firebase brings to usability with getting introduced to the decentralized storage world and the world of IPFS, you just got to go to their website, spend a few minutes diving in. If something really interests you, like, I know Dan's quite humble with some of his to telling everybody what Firebase is doing really well. But honestly, go to the guides and go to the docs, and you can see so many things like just there. You're like, wow, I can't believe I can do that, and it's literally got like a really nice formatted guide on how to try and do it yourself. Hosting NFT collections, launching websites, all that stuff's really cool. And it kind of gives you insight into how much, goes into it. But you don't have to be super technical. You can sort of try it out. So these are things that people can have fun with. Like if you want to use Mask and explore this, you just open the browser, you click once on the dock with a little file folder button, and it opens up Filebase. You can sign up for a free account. All of that, from the start of going to maskbrowser.com, getting the browser, and using Filebase, I would be surprised if it takes more than 3 minutes to do that. So if you've got 3 minutes to support us here in this call, please go away and do that now. Okay, that's your homework, everybody, because we've also got a competition going too. You can easily make almost, I don't know what the top prize is to get. I think it's $500 of Mask and credits for Filebase. You could use those 3 minutes and make some money if you're chosen as a winner. So yeah, got to plug that as well. Oh, I think Action booted himself.
Oh no. Oh yeah, I see him there as a listener.
There he is. I don't know what happened to him.
I'm back.
There he is.
Thanks,
Did I blow
Twitter.
you away? Were you updating? You were uploading your entry for these prizes, weren't you?
Actually, I was taking a picture. I don't know what happened, and I was using my burner phone to take the picture too. So I don't know really what happened there. I don't have my. I actually need to go in the house and grab my Filebase hat. But like I got the DeFi Kingdoms right next to the Mask hat, so I figured I'd take a picture and share it with you all.
One of these days, you're going to have to stack how many hats you have. See how high you can go with all these sponsor, like merch things you've had. You probably
have a lot. Like a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty proud of the Filebase one. That's one of the ones I'm like really proud of, because they only give those out at conferences, or they used to like business people that like would sign up with business accounts and stuff like that. So the fact that I was able to get one off of Joshua a while back, like that's a prized possession.
Yeah, we need to make more of those.
That's true. Really... Dan, do you even have a hat, Dan? Do you have a Filebase hat?
Yeah, I've got a couple. Yeah, I try not to wear them very often so I don't mess them up.
They're that rare. Look at that. These are like,
I like wearing
limited. They're that rare, everybody. These are limited run. There might only be like 50 in existence,
I think there actually might only be about 50 in existence. We definitely need to make a. There's going to be a merch run here in like the next quarter.
All right. So to deviate from conversation, Dan, is Filebase going to be at any of the upcoming conferences that people can like look at you in the eye and say, "Hey, good meeting you"?
Yeah, 100%. So I'll be at a Consensus here. I think what is it, next week? I'll be there for late Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I'll probably bounce out Friday. But yeah, if you're at any of the events, try to swing through. I will. We don't have a booth at Consensus. We didn't plan for one this year, but we are looking at doing something for permissionless later in the year. So we may announce something for that here in another month or two. But yeah, for now, I'm going to try and hit up everything at Consensus. There's a ton of events that we're invited to, so we're going to go and network and kind of meet people that have been using the product and kind of evangelize it a little bit. But yeah, if anybody's there, definitely hit us up, and we'd love to meet and have a coffee.
Man, I love it. Yeah, I'm probably going to connect with you and find out what events you're heading off to, or if you want to get into any of the events that are happening, get you in the good places.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a mariachi band in some neighborhood. That's the thing I'm excited for the most, surprisingly.
Really? Wow, I did not hear about that one.
It's like a backyard event that somebody, I don't know how they booked this place, but I went and looked at it on Google Maps just to make sure they weren't messing with me. And it was it had a sign in the front that said secret place. And that's all. It looked like a rundown shack. And I'm like, there's no way they're going to have an event here. So I kind of I'm compelled to go to this thing. They said mariachi band. So I'm like, I have to go to this event.
Wow. That sounds super secret squirrel. I think that's going to be pretty cool.
All right. So I understand the vibes. Corey, I think that he needs to also go to the Secret Network event that's taking place. I know you know about those guys over there. And actually, some of the conferences that I've seen Filebase at, Secret Network is usually there as well. Like, it's all about privacy. So I think we can get you some good spots. I think I have a posse right now of about 12 people asking me where are we going? We want to go wherever you're going. So this should be a fun one. I haven't had this many people in one place. And it's been a while since I had some good travel in, other than Dubai. And So we're gonna have a good time over Consensus. I can tell you that.
Yeah, Austin's fun.
Well, have your suitcases dried out since that trip? I mean, surely they're ready for another trip now.
So I travel with Pelican cases. They're waterproof. I don't have to worry about it.
You're a smart man. You're smarter than smarter than I give you credit for with such things. That's good.
I mean, you have to, right? Like, if you're going to nerd out over tech, you might as well nerd out over the stuff you're carrying around as well. Yeah, I would never risk like having my camera get wet. Like that it just can't happen. So I'll take every precaution I possibly can. Like it's important for you to be private and secure, both online and offline when it comes to these things for me.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. There are a lot of people that got stranded because of the flooding, and they just had no way to connect to anybody. And yeah, like their internet provider was out, or their whatever was out. It was like it was pretty. I think some people were quite freaked out if that was one of their first trips overseas. For a Web3 event.
You're so right. I mean, it was a little wild, and all right. So the coolest part of like going to Dubai was actually experiencing a less than open internet and seeing what that's like firsthand, and like not being able to, connect via like WhatsApp did not work unless I ran it through like WhatsApp, the browser, and I had a VPN running. So thanks, Mask, for allowing me to connect with my family while I was overseas. A lot of those things, like it doesn't hit home until you actually experience it firsthand, and getting to see that, like it totally makes sense for the need of of platforms like Mask, like Filebase, that really care about making things, censorship resistant. It makes a difference, and like there's a real impact, like a worldwide impact when it comes to this. Because if you think about it, I mean, when things are spreading, when the word about technology is spreading, they're not just going to the neighbors, like they're going around the globe. I mean, some economies around the globe essentially, are fed by people sending money home. Like, so you can just imagine like the impact that this type of technology really has globally. So like, I say this time and time again, like that's why I get excited every time, you say, hey, we're going to run a space this week or next week. And you go, hey, it's going to be at 9 p.m. for you. You're going to be awake. I'm like, yeah, I only woke up at 4:30 today. I'm fine. This is totally worth it. This type of stuff is 100% worth it. Like, I can't tell you how much I love this stuff. And it's like, this is my favorite space. Like, don't tell anybody else has said that. And Bolon, I know you're listening. Don't spread it. But I had spaces today with USDV, which is like a stable coin. I had spaces with Squid Grow, Shibtoshi, so like billionaires. I had spaces with congressmen today. And this is my favorite one because this has a direct impact, like right now, with the way that people browse, with the way that people do stuff. And like, this is what matters the most to me, honestly. It's the reason it's exciting is because it has a direct and immediate impact. So if y'all haven't downloaded Mask and haven't checked out at least the free version of Filebase, you guys are sleeping on the job. Y'all should go do that like right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I feel like it's underrated. I think the reason you like the space too is because we have fun. Number one, we have a good chat. We talk about lots of cool stuff. We get cool guests in here. Like, we're not always with special guests, but ones that we bring in are meaningful, right? And they're partners. But the cool thing is everything we're talking about is not conceptual anymore. Like, we're literally discussing products that any single person listening to my voice right now can go and try it. And it's free. Everything that we just talked about today is free to try. So, like, people are like, when are they going to make this? When can crypto have a proper use case? It's like, pull your head out of your ass, because stuff is actually live, and some projects actually have products. It's not vaporware. It's not, hey, we'll see you in Q3. Hopefully we're still around. It's like, come on, guys. There's actually products you can try and have cool creative experiences with, and they're unique. They're not like, hey, I've just forked Brave. Try it out, guys. We're calling it blah, blah, blah. I could name some. I almost did. But, this is like innovative stuff. What Filebase has done is very innovative. That's why they don't have, a lot of competitors in the same exact, framework that they've built. Like, it's super cool, man. So yeah, that's kind of like my little, outro is like, try the stuff, like, don't people say, hey, I'll wait for this, or I'm going to wait for it to be easy. Like, bro, it's super easy now. Like, yes, we can improve it. Yes, we can make it better. We are, but like, just give it a try. I mean, there's no barriers anymore. There's no like alpha and waiting for testing. Like it's live. So go ahead and try it and have fun.
Yeah, and I love being able to talk about Firebase while Dan's just sitting here and listening to me, so he can correct me if I say anything wrong. But like even 2 years ago, right? Like I said to these guys to their face, like you all are not that innovative, but you're innovating where it matters. It's bringing people in and teaching them that there is a better way to do these things. When people try to do too much, sometimes they miss the mark. And what Firebase did really well is to focus on what people need. They didn't try to go and shoot their shot everywhere and try to handle everything. They focused on the niche and said, we want to make sure that when people finally, find Web3, they can bring their companies over without the hassle that people usually go through, from setting up wallets to whatever else. Because I'll tell you what, like, good luck getting into a large company and saying, hey guys, we need to set up a wallet, we need to buy tokens, we need to do this. Like, nobody's gonna do that. Absolutely nobody. But when you simplify it and you say, use a credit card, it's okay. You don't have to change the way that you operate your business. All we're saying is that we want to save you money and we're going to have a better experience for your users. Like, how can you say no to that? I mean, am I like stretching the truth here, Dan, or does that sound about right?
And the other side of this too is like we have an amazing support model. Like I don't know any other projects where you can just go right in their Discord and you can say, hey, like here's my code. This is what I broke. Like, what did I do wrong? And like the creator of the platform will literally just pop in literally within like 10, 15 minutes and say, hey, you didn't include an XMZ header or whatever it is that you did wrong, but he's able to call it out. That was probably one of the things that I noticed first about our platform when I got there, that they were actually in the Discord helping people. There's so many projects that I would run into and I'm like, man, this is just hype, because anytime something breaks, I can't get an explanation. It takes like a week to get a response from a dev. Like I won't go into like the litany of problems I've had on my own development side, like for my personal projects, but yeah, like I've personally tried a lot of the stuff that people play with today, and it's either come back to bite me or it's broken. The Firebase is just, it's tested. It's a well-rounded platform that has a lot of people using it. Over time, our customers come back to us and say, hey, we don't need this, we need this, or this doesn't work as well as we would like it to. And we take note of those things and we fix them. And that's kind of like why we've kept a large number of users using IPFS today, because this stuff just works. It's simple and easy to use. But yeah, excellent points to bring up.
So when token, when are you going to extract value out of people in this space,
man? Probably never, man. I don't know. There was, I think, one point where like it had gotten mentioned and it was a thought, but like there's so many advantages to where we're at today. And I'm not the founder, so I don't think the idea would be up to me whether or not we have a token, but I think that the way that we move today is nimble for a big reason. Like, we don't have a token. It doesn't mess with the volatility of payments with our platform. At the end of the day, we don't have to worry about keeping thousands and thousands of investors happy that are on kind of like on a micro level managing the product and having expectations of like the token going up in price. We really get to focus on like what's breaking on a platform, like what can be improved. If it's like time to first byte can be increased in a certain region in the world, like that's what we're focused on. We're not really focused on like, what is the market doing today? Like, it definitely has an effect on, what we build and how we build it. But at the end of the day, it's really like, it is a SaaS platform first. It is Web 2.5 is kind of like to what Corey had stated earlier. We really focus on like interconnecting those worlds, because there's still going to be a lot of Web 2 companies, moving forward, that are trying to figure out like, how do we use decentralized storage to our advantage? You have companies like Netflix that use it today. There's just a number of different use cases that we'll see pop up over the years, where IPFS is kind of like the solution that you want to use for that. And it's, for the longest time, it's been typical centralized storage via like HTTPS. So it's a new way of doing things.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting, man. Your boy Heisenberg is a beast. That's the guy, Heisenberg.
Yeah. If you ever need to talk to Josh, like he's excellent at being able to like look at what you're doing and try to offer advice. But yeah, that is a huge delineator. You can actually get support through us if you're building something and you need help.
Yeah, man. Now he's good. I've even gone on the Discord and been like, "Hey, I was just testing this out." And he was there. I'm like, "Is he like the ghost in the machine? He's always there. Like, when does this man sleep?" I was like, "What the?" It's good.
Yeah, we have a lot of other developers too that have just been around for years that have used the product for like a ton of different platforms that they've built. And so in turn, I think that they've been awesome too, because they're able to pop in and kind of provide support and answers where maybe we're we're not there like 24/7 because we're human. We sleep at night too.
Oh yeah, 100%. Hey, big shout out to BetSwirl listening in. You know, their gaming platform is pretty awesome. They're in our browser DApp store, you know, our DApp store ecosystem. And I noticed another one. I might reach out after this. Cam, you know, CEO of Nemesis, with your game coming out. Both of you, if you haven't explored leveraging IPFS more, you honestly need to talk to Dan at Filebase, because it will improve some of the service levels of your platform for storage and all that. I just needed to plug that because I know you guys, or at least I know Rumwald at BetSwirl, and yeah, you know, like these are the types of use cases that might help you guys in your teams and your projects, right? Because it's all about being lean. You know, no one wants to waste money, and I certainly, and I'll tell you what, you know, I usually get very heated about these things, but I would definitely don't want to waste any cents on the corporate, you know, giants out there, like the Googles, the Amazons. I'll name all the assholes. I don't want to leech any money from our project or community to them, because there's really no return. So here you go. You've got use cases that are coming into Web3. They're not moats, they're bridges, and they want everybody to have a good experience, you know, so the power stays within the people and flows between the people, not through the silos. You know, it's a big deal.
I love it, but I feel like I'm doing everybody a disservice, because when I dropped off and I got rugged by X here, you guys are talking about free money.
Oh yeah, that's when you were uploading your video, man. I know. You might have an alt. I don't know what the alt's going to appear as, but you know, we'll keep an eye out for strange names, eh?
You'd be
kinda funny.
surprised at
I
the
hop on my work
random.
computer.
Yeah, I'll pull up some random accounts just to listen to the space, just for funsies. But yeah, you guys can guess which ones they're going to be. But can you go over that again? Because I totally missed it. How can people actually get some free money, and who's it coming from, and why are they getting it?
Oh yeah, I was going to plug the details of the competition. So we've got like a joint promotion for all users listening. Anyone can join and participate and do an entry. And it's a mask video experience competition. So essentially, you download the browser, create a free account on Filebase, record a screen share or a video that you want to make of what you like about Mask. It could be something that you really enjoy using, a feature in there that you like, or really just an educational piece. Maybe just, hey, this is what Mask stands for. We've had a few entries that are really, really cool looking. One has been like that, where they've sort of described how Mask is really cool and has a lot of great use cases for the world, and how Filebase fits in. You submit that and tag our accounts on Twitter, but you got to upload it through Filebase, because it's got to be up in the text. So we're wanting you to upload it into IPFS. The only caveat there is if the file is over 25 megabytes, you will need to do a free promo for an upgrade, so the file size the upload size is big enough to accommodate it. If you don't want to do over 25 megabytes, that's fine. You won't have an issue. So upload that, and then we're picking 3 winners. It's $1,000 of Mask for all 3, you know, for the combined prize pool. I think first place is 500. I have to double check. First place 500, and then there's Filebase credits for all 3 winners as well. So you can essentially get the full premium of their platform as well. And we extended the deadline, so I'm pretty sure it's going to go another week. We'll put out an announcement on the final deadline date to give a few more listeners, you know, a chance to join. You know, not alts of action. Like, you know, if these videos seem eerily similar and there's a few entries, we'll have to double check. But there's lots of ways you can really be creative with this. So yeah, we encourage everyone to join in, and make sure you tag us on Twitter when you've got your entry, and yeah, and post the link, post the CDN, or the CID, I should say. I think I covered all of it. We'll post the blog again too, so you guys have instructions.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna reach out to my creator friends and let them know that this is online, and I'll make it juicier for them to entice them to do a little more. Maybe we'll get some really good content out of this because I think it's totally worth it. It's a great idea. I love encouraging people to make content. That is actually one of my favorite things to do in the space. Like I literally spend hours and hours just consulting for free. And yes, I did say free. I've been doing YouTube for a long time, and most of it started me helping other people actually do it. So when I get to help people actually talk about crypto in a good way and help them create content, I just love it. I love every second of it. So yeah, I'm jumping in on this one head first. Can I win?
Nice.
That's the other question.
I don't see why not, man. If your content's the best, like there's 3 winners
All right,
to be picked.
so here's
like,
the
if you
deal.
pick
We'll
one of
do
them.
this. If my content is the best, you can say that I won, but then give it to the next person.
All right, yeah, so we'll give you street cred. We'll give you street cred, and then we'll pick like an honorary winner, right? Like for you.
I love it. Perfect. That works out for me.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, what is it in Web3? Cloud cred. We don't have streets. We have clouds, right? We'll give you cloud cred.
That is all I could ever ask for.
Nice. I'm going to drop this link of our competition in the thread here. I always get confused on how the heck to do this. How do I add?
You click the little send button on the bottom right hand corner, and it's going to give you the option to put it in
yes.
space.
I had to drag it up for some reason. All right, I'll do that now. So anyone listening, hop on the comment thread of this. Actually, if you've and by the way, if you've already done a video and you want to post it to enter, just drop it in this Spaces comment thread too. Post your link and post the stuff, and also come into our socials and let us know. Like, just so you don't get maybe, I don't think we'll get missed if you post it and you tag us, Filebase account and Mask account. But just hop into our socials and say, hey, here's my entry, and people will amplify it for you too. They'll be like, oh, this is cool. We might look at who's actually getting a lot of attention too. But it's going to be content creativity based. So whoever has the coolest, spent the, it seems like they put a lot of effort into it. We'll be picking that on merit as well. So some tips too. Actions listening. Some tips on winning.
I mean, I got to win now. I feel like I have to win, even if it's just our street cred.
I feel like, you're going to be off the grid now for 3 days, like ferreting away on these amazing content videos. And we'll be like, hey, Action, are you there? And he'll be putting an out of office handle on for 3 days to make this video now.
Man, I have so much gear literally in my office right now that people have sent me that I got to create content for. And I'm like, I got to pack. I got to figure out what I'm going to do for consensus. So it gets a little crazy, but I'll do something. I definitely want to get something done before I get out of here. Because time is short, and I want to make sure I'm highlighting the good stuff.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's a good trip to go on. Where's Consensus again? Where are they hosting it this year?
Austin, Texas.
Austin.
Oh, that's right. It is in Austin. Nice.
Yeah. And you're coming, right?
Man, I don't know if the flight time is any more friendly than it used to be. I haven't been to Austin in a long time. Maybe I will.
How long is the flight time from there?
I know you can do a direct flight from Auckland to Houston, and it's 14 hours one way. And the other way back, it's interestingly enough, is 12 hours 45 because you get some jet streams in the sky. So it's pretty interesting.
It's the Earth that's rotating,
rough.
at the right direction for you to get back.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I just thought the headwinds, because the headwinds might be worse in one way. But yeah, if I make it over there, I mean, I've got to find like babysitters. Maybe I'll do it. I should start a crowdfund. They can fund me to go to this event.
Dude, if you tell me you're coming, if that's all it takes, I will fund it and I'll try to find money elsewhere to cover it. But I'll just fund it.
Yeah, man, we'll have to do it. You're giving me too many ideas now. My wife's in the other room. She's probably like, is this man planning a trip without me? What the heck is he doing? I might get in trouble. On air, that would be pretty bad, actually.
Actually, that would make it for some entertaining space, I got to say. Dan, let me ask you something here. I just noticed that we're getting close to the top of the hour. Mass has been a partner with Filebase for a while, but if this partnership hadn't been put in place a while ago and it was just starting out, let's say today, what is it that you're looking for when it comes to partnerships? What is it that you look for in projects? What do you want them to be, able to do? And
projects that you'll run into that they just kind of wildly partner with everyone they can kind of get their hands on. And there's not a lot of like semblance in like how they're actually partnered, how they integrate with each other, and that's kind of been the like the paramount thing that we focus on here at Firebase is that like you kind of have to be using our tech on the back end, which it doesn't make it awkward. It kind of just makes for a deeper relationship because you see things like this integration that we have with Mask. We're able to kind of talk to the effect of like how our partnership enables people to do things better in Web3. And what I found is that like if you partner with companies that there's not really any touch points between your product and theirs, you don't really find ways to work together in any way that's meaningful. And you just kind of spin your wheels and it just turns into hype. And so a lot of the projects that you'll see us partner with are typically projects that are more mature or they're at a stage where we fully understand kind of like how they would integrate within an ecosystem, with storage. These would be things like DNS, browsers, CDN layers, anything that has to do with encryption. So think about like all the connected parts to storage, like the next step that you would take after storage. Those are really like the ideal partners that we look for. And then obviously any games or any platforms that typically use IPFS heavily, like we try to focus on those. But yeah, it's mostly users first and foremost. We like to have like close relationships with the companies that we work with, and then we kind of go from there. At times we've even been kind of like reluctant to partner with people, and it kind of it feels awkward to tell them no, but at the same time, it's like there's not a lot of connection there, and they're really just trying to branch out. And so we're always happy to like market and community effects with other companies. But when it comes to like actually truly partnering, I think it really requires something like what Mask has, where there's like a deeper integration that can be done between the two.
Yeah, nice.
I love it.
We're an exclusive bunch, maybe. Being Mask as a partner with you guys. It's been good.
Dan, I think Corey needs a hat. That's what I'm hearing. He said exclusive. I think that's where he's going with it.
Well, hey, if you guys are going to meet up, Action, give him one of the hats I sent. If you have, I think I sent you a couple. Bring one along for Dan for Mask hat if you have one.
On it.
It's actually kind of funny. A lot of the partners that we have, that's usually how it goes down. It's like a dinner and merch handoff. Like, here's your bag of goodies. Welcome to the crew.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, a lot of our stuff is sort of like out in the open too, tech wise. So I guess I could try and hot load a Raspberry Pi with Mask that runs in there, and you can just like have a mobile Mask node with you. That'd be pretty cool.
It's like, doesn't matter where you go, just plug this in.
Yeah, you've got your Mask hotspot anywhere you go, man. That'd be pretty cool. We've got some working experimental things with that, actually. Yeah, we might talk about it another time. I'm gonna be jumping down another rabbit hole before we finish. But yeah, is there anything we should cover before we wrap things up? I mean, I'll give a quick 2-minute roundup of what's going on in our ecosystem too. But maybe if you want to showcase anything from your end, Dan, that you guys are working on, or any cool things, milestones coming up for you guys.
Yeah, no, like we just did a refresh on our pricing. It didn't go down just recently, but the amount of storage, bandwidth, everything that we give you just kind of went way up because we maintain pretty much all of our own infrastructure. We're able to kind of play with the pricing a little bit and modify things in a way that other platforms probably can't today. So we put a lot of focus in the last quarter into just kind of modifying our pricing to make sure that like when you come to our platform, it's a no-brainer. You look at the pricing and you go, okay, like if I need to build something at scale, obviously Firebase is the option. In addition to that, like we have some new features that'll be coming out soon. I don't want to rob the engineers of the joy of kind of presenting these things to people. But we do have some new features that'll be coming out. So you'll see some announcements here in the next couple of weeks, as soon as we get back from consensus, I would assume. And those will be some pretty big announcements. But yeah, just kind of keep watching what we're doing. And if anybody wants to connect from this call, definitely reach out to me. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Twitter. But yeah, it's late here. So if I'm just mumbling, do let me know as well. And we'll have a daytime conversation. But yeah. I think you guys covered everything pretty well.
No, you sound pretty onto it for getting later in the evening. So that's good, man. But yeah, I urge all the project leaders and founders and community ambassadors, whoever are listening, yeah, definitely reach out. Dan's been awesome to work with, real friendly, always responsive, helpful, finding the needs of what, at least for a mask, like what our needs were and what we sort of saw, as a vision of partnering with the tech together. So it's been a really cool experience. So I definitely would vouch for anyone looking for that sort of thing. And of course, save some of your infra costs and leverage the stuff that we have, which is tried and true. So it's super cool. On the mass side
too, before I forget,
oh yeah, go ahead.
Not to cut you off, but I did forget to mention, like we have two different programs right now that I don't mention enough. Like one of them is called our startup program. Like if you're less than 5 years old, you have some funding round that you've completed, or you're a part of an accelerator, and you have something that's an MVP stage, or it's an actual platform that's live today that we can see, and you want to use us for free, you can actually reach out to me. We fund projects up to 12 months of use on certain plans, and it just covers your storage, your egress, all of that stuff, so that way you don't have to worry about the bill for the first year as you kind of scale your project. There's no strings attached. We are just trying to incubate projects that are going to live on IPFS and use it. And so if you want to reach out about that, it's called our startup program. And then we have what we call a switch and save program, which is essentially if you are currently on another provider platform and you want to try something else, you can come to us, you fill out a form, we'll give you 3 months for free on our platform, just migrate to us. All you have to do is show us an invoice to essentially prove that you are paying a competitor today. And then we'll basically just match that for 3 months. But yeah, definitely wanted to mention that.
And that's a company that's 5 years or younger, not children.
Yeah. So essentially in startup phase, like, yeah. Children companies is what we're looking for that are like less than 5 years old, not actual physical children. I mean, I guess you could be, if you've got like a profitable looking company at like 14, 15 years old and you want to reach out, like go for it. We've had those before, which is strange, but yeah, it's the space.
Nice. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I actually I had a note to mention that you guys have some special programs for projects too, and the young ones that are finding their feet, using the tech out there and leveraging IPFS. Yeah, man, I could definitely vouch for you guys. Please apply if you guys are girls, fit in that category as well. And from the mass side, we've had a lot of time sort of bubbling away underneath the surface, right? We've got a big announcement coming up about our ecosystem accelerator program. So maybe we will leverage, Filebase and other partners to be actively involved in that, intimately, with different services or partner deals and things like that. But we haven't explored that yet, but that will be released very soon, and that's going to involve a lot of stuff, including rewarding people that have helped us in the last year or two, especially testers, rewarding developers who have built things, just as volunteers. There'll be a developer grants for various proposals that people want to build and solutions that we would like to see built for Mask to help us grow. And also a component of, which I think I hinted at in the other week, where we want to open up the token utility of Mask as a token. And there'll be a pilot program where we're going to offer merchant services through certain partners where you can actually use the Mask token to do stuff in the real world. When I say the real world, I mean like the physical world, right? You can buy goods and services. So it's pretty big. This is like saying, hey, now it's open to so much more. We're incubating things within our community, but also inviting the community to grow, evolving our ecosystem, but also making this just more than just a privacy ecosystem, but it's open to a lot more stuff. As well as that, we're going to release a new version, a patch version with a couple cool little things in there as well, which are pretty exciting. Very soon, it's already in testing, so we might get it by the end of the week, which would be super great cadence. Super awesome timing to get that out the gate into the hands of the users. And if you want to be ready for that, and you're not a user yet, I'll say it again: go onto maskbrowser.com, download the browser, spend 1 minute investing in your privacy tool aspect of your life, and install it and try it. and give us feedback. Jump into our Discord, jump into our Telegram. You can spot all the links in our bio, but if you want to jump in there, we're there to help. We've got a great user support group as well, just like Filebase. Like someone's usually there to answer if you need help, and it's all secure in the Discord, right? Like, please, I know we probably don't need PSAs, but we kind of do, actually. Like, don't answer DMs from people saying that they're Dan from Filebase. We're doing a token airdrop. Here, click on this link. Or it's Cowrie from Mask. Or, hey, you need help? I'm here to help. Like, don't answer DMs like that because it's probably a scam. So, well, just the whole PSA, because I'm sure no one wants to be scammed. And it'll never stop until the scammers scam everybody,
I will never message you, for sure.
Yeah. Don't
wow,
ever message
that was wow. You guys are really friendly.
No, I'll message you. Just send nice messages.
Yeah.
Oh, you
We'll have a
guys are
code
amazing.
word. We'll have a code word. If it starts with, I think we've said this before, if it starts with hi bro or hi sir, insta-block. Insta-block, guys. Don't even do it. Oh, I hear the noise. Whose speaker is that? That's a familiar sound.
It's on my laptop. My mask was updated on my laptop. I just updated it.
See, I told you guys and girls listening, you have competition now. Action is making a video. He's going to enter. We need some really, really good entries because I, as much as I love the guy, I want him to win. I want to see some real, amazing talent as well, rivaling this guy before he leaves for consensus. So, yeah, we'll announce the deadline as well, the extension, open for entries. Go ahead and do it. And if you are listening and you want to learn more about Filebase, I'll let you, Dan, you want to drop, plug all your links or where people can find out more?
Yeah, just go to filebase.com. It's real simple. You'll be able to access everything from there. At the top of our site, you've got documentation, you've got our blog. Pretty much everything you want to read is probably under our documentation, though. So, like they alluded to earlier, there's a lot there. Check it out. And if you want to reach out to me on any other platform, there's tons of places that you can find me. But LinkedIn or Twitter would be good.
Beautiful.
All right.
Yeah, and it's pretty funny, Dan. Like even like some of the high end people in Filebase, they don't have a lot of people that follow them on Twitter. So you guys are pretty accessible, which is wild to me still. And one of the things I love most about Web3, like you actually can talk to Corey if you go in the Discord. Like that doesn't happen very often, right? Like this is not your regular startup. This is not your regular Web2 business. People are actually responsive, and you can actually get in touch with them, and they are there to assist you and help you and guide you through things if you want to find out how stuff works, man. It's my favorite thing about the space. It really is. Corey, do you want to do that final plug, or you want me to close us out?
No, I think I covered everything, man. You can close this out. I know it's getting late on your guys' ends, and thanks again for your time, Dan. Always love what you guys are building at Filebase, and we're proud to be a partner of yours. And we want everyone to try you out and use it. Use this tech. Like leverage all these cool things that are already there. So encourage everyone to try it. So thanks for your time too, man.
Thanks, guys. Definitely. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And we'll definitely do this again. I'll try to stay in touch as much as possible. We'll definitely see you at Consensus. And if anybody here is listening and has not downloaded that Mass browser yet, go ahead and do that. It's just massbrowser.com. And when you get in it, check out Filebase. It's going to be the little icon that looks like the save button that old people know as a floppy disk. It's yellow and you can't miss. It's going to be right at the bottom of the screen. Y'all are awesome, and we'll see you on the next one.